Yes, indeed, there are more questions than answers. Like, why do cats always look like you've just asked them to take you to a ride to the airport? Have you noticed that with cats? They always look at you as if you've just asked them something. Like, can you help me with my shopping? Ride to the airport? That's the look, you've got it. This is the difference between cats and dogs. You know, a cat will look at you and do that, but a dog, imagine I'm putting up shelves in the kitchen. The dog's looking at me. The dog's thinking, I don't know what you're doing, but you're fantastic. I love everything you do. You're such a star. I don't know what exactly you're doing. I'm putting up the shelves, but they look fantastic. They look really good. Everything you touch is amazing. You're just a joy to be around. The cat sat there like this, and it's thinking, that's not going to stay up. What's he thinking? That's not going to work. Isn't that the definition of those two things? I'm going to add as well, by the way, we can land a robotic controlled explorer vehicle on Mars with exact precision and fly helicopters around on extraterrestrial soil, but I still can't get the casino to accept my wrinkled dollar bills. There's some sort of priority required here, something going wrong that we can't arrange those things. Hello world. Hello, America. My name is Adrian Lee, and I am your host. Welcome to the show. More questions than answers. The only paranormal news quiz show anywhere in the world. Each week, my guests and I will search the world's newspapers, websites, and TV shows just for you, to bring you the very best in paranormal talk radio entertainment and enlightenment. We will then test each other's knowledge of the week's events of the mysterious, strange, supernatural, unusual, bizarre, and just plain weird. If you have just tuned in especially to hear the show, then I admire your taste. If you have just tuned in by accident, then I admire your luck. I am huddled under my quilt with a large flashlight and a nice cup of tea with tonight's guests, somewhere in the barren wildernesses of the Midwest Plains, with the sound of my elderly mother snoring distantly from the room next door. Each week, we press our ear against the bedroom wall. Whatever my mother listens to before she goes to bed picks and pulls on her unconscious mind, and that's the very tune she snores. Let's have a listen tonight. Oh, yeah. 'Cause it's me birthday. Yes, it's me birthday.
Oh, God.
It's my birthday. In actuality, my birthday was several weeks ago now, but we've not done a show. I've been very busy doing paranormal investigations. I have many books coming out in the next few days and the next few weeks, and I'll talk about that in a second. That was 50 cents, wasn't it? So thank you for all of my birthday wishes. Thank you very much for posting on Twitter, on Facebook. I actually have some parcels down here that I'm going to be accessing during the mailbag part of the show, but I just wanted to thank everybody for wishing me a happy birthday and all of the things I got sent. So thank you for that. And my mother's wishing me happy birthday by snoring the tunes of 50 cents. I guarantee if I asked my mother who 50 cents was, she would have no clue. I almost want to call her up live. It'll be 3 o'clock in the morning.
I love that.
We'll wake her up and say, Mum, and we'll see what she says. So snuggle under your covers, turn out your lights, and hold on tight. The rules are very simple. Rules. This isn't Vietnam. There's rules. They're very simple, though. Points will be awarded randomly for being interesting or for making me laugh or shiver in horror. Extra points will be available for shock and or value. To help me control my rowdy panel of recidivists and reprobates, I will employ what I have called the inappropriate bell. An example of this would be... The panel have no idea what's coming. I have no idea what stories they have for tonight's show. That is genuinely 100% true. I have no clue what's about to take place on any level. We've not spoken about it. I don't actually talk to these ladies outside of the show. They'll have nothing to do with me. Firstly, I'm going to introduce my guests, the ladies that will have nothing to do with me. Firstly, the mysterious and effervescent and aloof Heather Morris. She's been a paranormal investigator for many years with her own team called Hellhound Investigations and does all of her best work in the shadows because she's a Scorpio. She is now one of the leading audio and EVP experts with the International Paranormal Society and brings her knowledge and research skills to tonight's show. She's also a producer and sound engineer, which means she can turn down my mic at any given moment, but that just means I shout louder and get picked up on other people's mics, of course. There's only 5 things you should know about Heather. Number 1, she's very secretive. How are you doing this week? Having fun?
That was it?
There was a joke in there weaving its way around like a little meta-narrative.
Oh, boy.
But it's passed you by, hasn't it, Morris?
A little bit.
You didn't even catch it. You should have reached out your hand. My greatest fear in life, asking is easy. Anyone can ask. It's the receiving that's the most difficult part. And all the things I get given, I don't reach out and grab. Keeps me awake at night.
Does
You having a good week? I love your Batman shirt.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yes.
You like your superhero characters, don't you?
I do.
Very true. I have a secret. My secret is that I'm addicted to seaweed. I am seeking kelp.
No.
Again, I think that sounds like Bicycle Race by Queen. Also wish to introduce the man crazy. I'm going to put my neck out one day doing that. Wow. I need to slow down with this shenanigans.
Easy.
Get a whiplash injury and we'll end up getting compensation from somebody. I don't know who.
You.
From me. I'll be paying myself compensation. Where was I? She was born in Moira, Minnesota and has a keen and avid interest in all things paranormal. Michelle got her first shot this week and she'd have got a second one if she'd have caught the waitress's attention. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Thank you.
Having a good week?
I am.
Lovely. I love the matching eyeshadow, matching t-shirt. Look, you've made an effort.
I tried.
Morris looks like she's just come off working on a refuse cart. Look at her. You could have made an effort.
This is an effort.
That's an effort. That is true. Yes, we have. Thank you for putting your clothes on. Running a comb through your hair. That's very philanthropic of you. I will say historically, the best thing about vaccines, we're not getting political by the way, but the best thing about vaccines is that we don't need to have 10 children anymore.
Right.
Because in the hope of 4 make it into adulthood, right?
Yes.
So our poor great-grandparents is what I would suggest. My grandmother and my grandfather came from families of up to 12 children and only a handful make it, right? So that's the benefit of vaccines. We don't have to have 12 children anymore with the hope that 1 or 2 might scrape it past the age of 20. Just to thin out the herd. They're mad, they're bad, and they are paranormal. We have a watch party. Not many shows. I can't think of any, actually. I say not many. I genuinely can't think of any. We have a live watch party right now. If you're watching on MCN6, whether it be through Roku or mcn6.org, or whether you're watching this out of the Twin Cities on Channel 6, it's, by my estimation, 10 minutes past 9. You can go onto Facebook this very second. You can visit the watch party, which is more questions and answers with Adrian Lee, and you can play along with a quiz.
Yes.
You can actually have friends on there. You can go backwards and forwards with banter. There's gift wars, people making comments. You can literally find the love of your life by going on there now and flirting and putting outrageous photographs on there.
Why not?
This is a live interactive show and you can pit your wits against the panel that I have here today. Panel being a thin piece of wood. All true, I tell you. So join us now on MCN6 watching, and you can do the watch party at the same time. You can multitask. You're all very intelligent people and aesthetically pleasing. I'm sure you're capable of those things, but I want to share that with you so you can play along at home. Before we jump in any further, I have a story from last week that I must tell you. because it's very funny, but slightly distressing, as all good stories are. You know Brian Sterling Vitae?
Yes.
Good friend of mine. He's been on the show many times. He is an actor, of course. He's a film director. He's a writer. The man's done everything. He's got Guinness World Records. He was a stuntman. He set himself on fire after his marriage ended. I mean, just fabulous things. He was walking through the park in Manchester with his beloved, Helen, who's been on the show as well, and a little squirrel, was on the ground. Brian, being a philanthropic person with a love of nature and all things animal, thought he'd go and help. The little squirrel, he bent down. He picked it off the grass. He wanted to make sure it was safe. Perhaps it'd fallen out the tree. Perhaps it was an epileptic squirrel. We'll never know. The squirrel was crazed. It went for him. It attacked him. It was the killer squirrel from Monty Python. And it bit through his finger and his gloves, and he had to go to ER and get stitches and a tetanus shot. We don't have rabies in Britain, so he avoided that. And then the squirrel ran up the tree after attacking Brian, took his wallet, stole his Rolex watch, had a switchblade and tattoos. Having tasted Brian's blood, the squirrel then fell out of the branch and died.
Yeah.
Which was most distressing.
It's a dead squirrel.
So I don't know what kind of blood Brian's got coursing through his veins. Vampire blood, I suspect. He's just created a vampire squirrel. Can you get were squirrels? On a full moon, are there gangs of squirrels howling in the moonlight? Mugging old women on street corners, taking their pension money? I said it was a quite funny story. Brian's fine. You know, he's had his fingers sewn back together.
He didn't lose his finger.
The trouble with losing several fingers, of course, is that if you get deaf in old age and you have to learn sign language, you've got a limited vocabulary. I mean, there are problems. You know, he can't operate a digital watch anymore. There are problems inherent with having your fingers removed. But Brian's fine. He has all of his digits. The squirrel, I'm sorry to say, has sadly passed. By the way, if you are bitten by anything like that, take the animal with you, because the hospital will want to test what's wrong with that animal. So it's normally a good idea to take the carcass with you. But best wishes to Brian, who's probably already recovered.
And ate the squirrel.
But it's a squirrel, though they taste like chicken. You can only kind of eat the back legs, can't you, unless you stew it. I've no idea. Throw another squirrel in the pot, we'll be fine. But that did happen. The other thing I want to cover before we jump in to our quiz, ladies and gentlemen, I say, can you see this in glorious Technicolor? That is my first fiction novel. How cool is that? It even smells good. We've had this discussion before. This is the book Unnatural Causes, and it came out yesterday. It's now live. You can get the physical copy. You can get the ebook. This is my first fiction book, and I've read it twice. It's excellent. So if you wish to go and get yourself a copy, I would highly recommend that. Monica Bullock is a very famous, well-known ghost fiction author. If you get a chance to look her books up on Amazon, the woman gets thousands and thousands of really good reviews. Her books are stunning. She's read the book and written a foreword, and I just want to read the sentence attached to that. It's on the back of the book, but she said, best-selling author M.L. Bullock says, Unnatural Causes, and she talks just like this. You can almost imagine she's in the room because she's a lady who's currently in Mississippi with a deep southern accent, so we're interchangeable. It's almost like she's here,
yes.
Right? Best-selling author M.L. Bullock says, Unnatural Causes is powerful in its subtleties. Adrian's first foray into fiction made my skin crawl, but in a good way. If you want to get lost for a few hours in a riveting paranormal world where nothing is as it seems, you have to read this one. 5 stars from me. Go and get yourself a copy so I can pay for groceries and my mortgage, and you will not be disappointed. It's a very, very good book. Completely different from the non-fiction books I normally write, and I'd love for you to tell me what you're thinking. But what an opportunity. It's part of a trilogy. This is book 1. There's 2 more books to go. It's called The Unlucky Jade Paranormal Series, and Jade is my heroine in that particular book. But if you get a chance, that came out yesterday and is now available in every single format. That's a joy, isn't it?
Yes.
Makes me very happy.
Congratulations.
If I can't plug my own book on my own show, there's something wrong with the world.
What else can you plug?
Yeah.
Your hair? I have no idea.
Your ears?
Yes. Just don't. Yes, there's many things you can plug, but we're not going to discuss it now on television.
Yeah.
Okay, so as always, as convention dictates, we have the Martin-sponsored roulette wheel of infinite knowledge with the 3 bells of statistics and the bingo of facts. Stand back, ladies and gentlemen.
Martin!
Thank you,
That
Martin.
was very casual, wasn't it? Just a flick of the wrist. Wasn't even looking. I wasn't even looking, man. I'm not looking. 100% true. On this very day, in 1328, that was a while ago, wasn't it? 1328. That's almost 1:30. That was lunchtime. On this day in 1328, the Kingdom of England recognised the Kingdom of Scotland as an independent state. The problem England and Scotland have always had is that if Spain and Portugal on the Iberian Peninsula ever decided to merge together as one, they'd call it Sportugal. England decided to take over Scotland and we decided to call it England. And that made lots of Scottish people unhappy. But today is their Independence Day as an independent state, allowing Scotland to introduce its own set of crazy rules and laws. Guess where we are going now, ladies and gentlemen? It's your favourite part of the show. So for the very first time in the history of Mqta Radio, I cannot believe that strange, bizarre and fascinating facts about the laws of bonnie Scotland.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready with your haggis and your porridge and your gruple?
Yes.
Sure.
Have you had haggis?
No.
Yes.
What did you think?
It wasn't that bad.
I agree. I quite like it. It's a bit dry. I mean, you'd want to drop a gravy on it. I mean, after 2 or 3 spoonfuls, you're kind of, it's made of oats and what they call pluck, which is the lungs, and various other parts that you wouldn't want to mention, perhaps.
Gross.
It's fine. Honestly,
Yeah.
I've eaten far worse things, and we've discussed far worse things. But if you've got some parsnips with it, some neeps, some tatties, some potatoes, a few turnips, you need blackcurrant jelly on it. That's what I used to have. Blackcurrant jelly. It's not the end of the world. And I like shortbread. You like Scotch eggs, don't you? Fan of rolled oats? Do you like a bit of porridge?
No.
Yes.
So Scotland's not the place for you, ideally.
Fine.
I do wear a kilt when I'm at the Renfest, but it's actually an Irish kilt. So we are going to make the distinction because I do have an Irish. I was going to say I have an Irish great-grandfather, but we all have Irish every single person on this planet has an Irish great-grandmother or great-grandfather. They got about, those guys, didn't they?
They did.
The Irish got about. I wonder how many of the world's population can say they've Irish blood in them.
A lot.
I would think that's true. Feeling confident about the laws of Scotland?
Nope. Nay.
Wow, you're almost. Can I get you? Silly. Give it 10 minutes and we'll be talking like the character that we can't mention on air from Austin Powers. But he's slightly overweight and his parentage is questionable. Oh, I'm feeling kind of emotional, like.
Oh, aye.
Oh, no, it's kind of squidgy. Frisky away. In Scotland, it is illegal to be in charge of what when drunk, which is probably 90% of the time, I would suggest. So in Scotland, Miss Morris, you're going first. It is illegal to be in charge of what?
A sheep herd.
You can't be a shepherd that's been on the sauce.
Nope.
You're sat there on your hillocks with the wind whistling through your quantocks, and there's your herd laid out before you. You've had a nip of scotch. The Scots people don't like being called Scotch because Scotch is a drink and they're Scots. So there is a distinction to be made. But you've got your Glenfiddich. You sat there swigging away because you'd swig the best whiskey, right? The best Scotch. And you're suggesting that your sheep are going in all directions.
Yep.
Like dropping a box of Whoppers on a concrete floor in Walmart and watching them go in all different ways.
Yes.
Mary had a little lamb.
Nope.
No, she didn't. So you're suggesting you cannot be drunk and in charge of sheepies.
Correct.
Sheeps. I nearly laughed until I cried when an Italian friend of mine tried to pronounce sheep as a plural and called it sheeps. And it's a very difficult language, is English. You say to people, well, the difference between plural and singular is stick an S on the end. So he's like, okay, sheeps.
Yeah.
It's very confusing for foreigners, isn't it? I wouldn't want to be foreign and learn English. We have hundreds and hundreds of words. If you look at a thesaurus of English words, It's a couple of inches. It's 4 or 5 inches thick. If you go to Germany and look at one of their thesauruses, it's almost a novella. It's a pamphlet. I've seen pamphlets bigger in the doctor's waiting room that talk about pregnancy tests, boils, and things I've caught from being out on a Friday night.
Pregnancy?
100% true. Well, I'm trying to take precautions. I jump up and down afterwards.
Right.
I do what everyone else is doing.
It's for the best.
God, can you imagine what the neighbours would say? I don't know how I'd bring that up to my parents. My dad would say, whatever got into you. That's how that would go.
God.
You have a choice of many wondrous things that you cannot be in charge of, but I want this one specifically, and it is a little bit unusual, if you are drunk and you are Scottish. And I was inappropriate earlier, and I'll ring the bell just to give you another second of thinking time.
A bagpipe band.
You cannot be in charge of bagpipes. I learned to play the bagpipes by studying in humanities at Stirling University. I love this show. This makes me very happy. This is spontaneous. This is wit. Nothing's written down, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you a clue. It's an animal, but Morris hasn't got this right yet. So go again would be my advice. I'm going to give the points away one way or another.
Fish.
Ducks.
Drunk in charge of fish.
Yeah.
There
Can't
they
hurt
are.
'em.
There's a herding fish. Yeah. This way. Herding fish.
Yes.
It's not fish. You went with
Ducks.
and it's not a duck.
Pigeons.
It's not pigeons. How about we stick with mammals for a little while?
Cows.
There you go. Highland cattle. You cannot be drunk and in charge of cows.
I was close. I win.
How are you close?
I said sheep.
How are sheep and cows similar?
They go in herds.
They
No,
eat
they go in
grass.
flocks, I think you'll find. You're
That's a
suggesting...
flock of birds.
I tell you what, I wouldn't wear a cow's sweatshirt and I'm not about to milk a sheep. So based on those, you're not getting any. But Michelle gets
Whatever.
two lovely, rosy, Hebridean Angus steak 2 points. So well done to you.
Thank
You're
you.
starting the show with a double set of points there. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover.
Stop.
I love this show. This makes me happy. I don't know why I'm here, but I do love this show.
I don't know.
Michelle has scored herself 2 fabulous points. If someone knocks on your door, imagine the scene. You're there in Berwick-upon-Tweed. You're on the Scottish borders. Or you could be in Glasgow. You could be in Inverness. You could be dancing on the streets of Wraith. Someone knocks at your door. Oh, I better go see what that is, you know.
Oh, aye.
Kind of get out. So, someone knocks on your door and asks for this. You are by law obliged to give it to them. So what could you ask for at the front door and what do you then have to give them? It's the law. And apparently I've done some research. Would you believe such wonders? And people still enact this law. People still...
Directions.
You are by law have to give directions. If you say, I don't know where I'm going. Of course, as an Englishman knocking on a door in Scotland, they're going to be the right directions, aren't they? They're going to point me exactly where I need to go. You might be better off being an American knocking on a door in Scotland, and you can't say that in many places around the world, rather than myself, for example. I mean, the relationship between Scotland and England at best is frosty. You know, they beat us at the Battle of Bannockburn once, and they haven't stopped talking about it, and they've made a few films, and Mel Gibson's been involved, and Liam Neeson, and they won't stop talking about it. The following year, we went back, and Edward I wiped the floor with them, and they haven't stopped discussing that either. You need to let it go, guys. It was 800 years ago. This is what you've got in this country. They still talk about the Civil War in the early 1860s. Scotland are still discussing what we did to them 700-800 years ago. They will be discussing the Civil War in America in 700 to 800 years' time. No one's going to let that go, are they? So, you are suggesting that directions have to be given if you ask for them.
Yeah, and a room for the night.
Nice. Wow. I went to a Welsh house and asked directions. I've got time.
No.
I can wait. There. Michelle, you have to give
I was
this.
going to say a room or shelter because I think there's some sort of law of Highland hospitality.
There
but-
is, but it's not a room. So it's a want and a need but it's not a room if that helps you.
Bathroom.
Oh, you're so close. Spit it out, ladies. It's not a bathroom, but it's...
A meal?
No, that's nothing like a bathroom, is it?
Toilet paper?
Close, but no cigar. What would you want a bathroom for?
To brush your teeth?
To go to the bath, to pee.
There you go. As simple as that. You have. If someone says you could knock on a stranger's door in Scotland. You can say, I need to lay some rope. I need to launch a sewer pickle. I'm going to have to choke a donkey.
Stop it.
It's kind of squidgy. You have to. Don't throw me. You have to, by law, let them drop their guts in your toilet. And apparently, this still happens if you're fell walking, if you're in the Highlands. It came about originally because clans would go across each other's land, and going to the toilet literally meant squatting in a field or digging a hole. But this still gets enacted by ramblers, people walking. You can knock on someone's door, and by law, they have to let you lay some cable, I guess. This is fabulous. So if you're in Scotland and you're caught short, it doesn't have to be number 2s, of course. You could do number 1s as well.
Just go outside.
In the sunshine. So there are points that Michelle is getting. She's got another 2, and she's up to 4 nice, soft, spongy stools, which makes everybody happy, of course. You are not allowed to gamble in this building in Scotland. Imagine you sat there with your dice.
The outhouse.
What are you gambling on? The fact that you had a curry the night before and your low and intestinal tract isn't going to come flying out.
At the neighbors.
Look at her going into the outside toilet with a shoehorn. I bet she's been at the Indian Palace. Yeah, she had the Vindaloo. You are suggesting you're not allowed to gamble in the outhouse. I don't know why you're fluttering your eyelashes at me. It's not going to give you points. This is fairly black and white. There's no grey area here. This isn't 50 Shades of Brown. What are you suggesting, Michelle?
In the kirk.
You can't go where?
The kirk.
In a kilt. What kind of building?
The church.
Oh, a church. Wow. You're not allowed to gamble in a church. I would suggest that's probably the case in many countries. Think about your local town. Think about what buildings there are. Municipal perhaps might give you a clue, and just start shouting.
The post office.
No, it's not the post office. You're not allowed to gamble in the
bakery.
City Hall.
Oh, you're getting closer. You're not shouting at anything that's municipal. You're just shouting
the
at
waterworks, the electrics.
Yes, those are buildings that are government owned. What else is government owned?
City
We've
Hall.
got one in this town.
The courthouse.
Been in it. You've been in the courthouse.
Jail.
The jail.
No, keep going. We could be here sometime as we play What's My Building.
I'm over it.
The
I bet
bank.
you can see it from this building.
The library.
The school. Oh.
Morris, you are not allowed to gamble in the library. If you're sat there with snake eyes, if you've got dead man's grip, not
Dead man's grip is in a toilet.
Stop.
dead man's grip is the previous question. If you've got a dead man's hand, make the most of it would be my advice. You're not allowed to gamble in the library. There must have been some serious gambling in Scotland taking place in libraries for that law to even be on the books, I would suggest.
Reading Gambling for Dummies.
They are, yes. Can you imagine how to play poker for idiots?
Good one.
It's nice. I like that one. I'll give you a little chime. I'll give you a couple of points, Morris, for fingering through the periodicals in aisle 2. There we go. Do you have a library card, ladies? Because I've been checking you out.
How do you check out a library card?
I don't think it was open to interpretation other than the fact that I'm flirting really badly. Worst chat
Really
up line?
badly.
Worst line anyone's ever said?
Hey, pirate, where'd you get that booty?
Oh, would that work? Did it work? Did you put it out?
No!
I don't know what you do at the weekend, apart from sitting in here, entertaining folks at home. Really, that was one, was it? They didn't use lines on you. They just got you drunk or took you to Dairy Queen, didn't they?
Wow.
Well,
No.
Didn't someone say to you once, it's about time you I've put in the spade work, or was that? Don't deny yourself, wasn't it?
Yes, it was that.
Oh,
Don't deny yourself the pleasures of the loom.
Don't
Crazy.
deny yourself. You know,
Heather's
you
got
want to kiss me?
two.
Yes, I
no.
didn't.
Wow.
I disappeared that night.
Yeah, you climbed out of a toilet window, didn't you?
I did.
I know your stories. We've touched upon this
It's gone.
before. If the head of a whale washes up on the beach in Scotland, who legally owns it? I don't know why a whale's head would just randomly wash up. Perhaps the whole thing's washed up and they're just content with their head part. But the head of a whale, I want to know who owns that in Scotland. Imagine
Queen.
you're walking along the beach in Aberdeenshire, and all of a sudden, a whale head washes up. Some sort of orca, perhaps. I have no idea. Whale meat again. Don't know where, don't know when. You are suggesting the Queen.
Or Poseidon.
Or Poseidon.
Aquaman.
So your
Aquaman.
choices are a Greek god of the sea.
Yep.
The head of the country in terms of sovereign.
Yep.
Or a DC character.
Correct.
Well, you've spread your chips.
Prime
incredibly
Minister.
The Prime
Gordon
Minister of
Brown.
Scotland or the Prime Minister of England?
Whoa.
Both.
Hello, Prime Minister. Michelle. Is Aquaman your answer, or are you going to go with something vaguely resembling some points?
I have no idea who it
Jacques
would belong
Cousteau.
to. Jacques Cousteau.
You have nothing, have you?
No.
You're going to
Gordon
be left
Ramsay.
wanting. I've got a slight problem here, ladies and gentlemen, and I will tell you why. The Queen doesn't own the head, but she does get something.
The ambergris.
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 Ambergris is the
blubber.
it's the spew of a whale that
It's
gets
worth
washed
a
up.
lot of money.
And it's like a big piece of white lard. And it's like people have found this on the beach and perfumiers use it and it's worth millions.
Yep.
It's more expensive than finding a gold nugget.
Yep.
The biggest gold nugget in the world, an Australian was walking through the woods and literally fell over it. And it was the size of a football. And he had to go back to his house to get a wheelbarrow to go and Can you imagine going back to the house to get a wheelbarrow and then you can't remember where the nugget was? The Queen owns what? She doesn't own the head. She owns the...
Body.
Spiums.
What did you say?
The body.
We're going to be here for some time.
Tail.
Heart.
Fin.
There you go. The Queen actually owns the tail. The King would get the head is where we are. It pains me to do this, but Morris has got herself a little blowhole too, and you're on
Thanks.
4 points each. But the King gets the head. The Queen gets the towel. And there we go. I don't know how they'll get it to them. And what did
Yeah.
you send it
Would
through?
they
Put a
want
stamp
it?
on it with a Sharpie or something. But where there's a wow, there's a way. This is just the best. It makes me very happy. I will suggest to you that similar to swans, if you see a swan in Britain, it's owned by the Queen or the Duke of Westminster, one of the two. But if you kill a swan, that's a Crown offence. People have been hanged in the past for killing swans. A woman got into a lot of trouble once because the police found a swan in a woman's freezer and she had to convince them that it had died and she hadn't actually killed it. But killing a swan is a very, very dangerous offence in Britain. That's Crown. And of course, stamps, banknotes, maps are all Crown possessions, Crown copyright. If you photocopy a map, you can get into a lot of trouble. If you damage a banknote, I don't suspect anyone's ever been sentenced, but you can still be hanged, I suspect, for, that wouldn't happen because we did away with capital punishment back in the late 50s, early 60s in Britain. But that is a Crown offence. You're not allowed to wear this when walking into the Scottish Parliament.
Underwear.
You're not allowed to wear underwear. Commando only for the members of Parliament, for all of the Scottish areas.
It leaves you vulnerable.
It makes you vulnerable, does it? Not to
Yeah.
wear underwear in Scotland.
So you don't get cocky.
Wow. Do you think Scotsmen wear anything under their kilts?
No.
You know how you can tell a Scotsman, right? You put your hand up his kilt, and if he's got a quarter pounder, he's a McDonald. 100%
Stop
true.
it.
See, this
No.
is, you leave this show with more than you arrive with. You're suggesting, by law, you're not allowed to wear underwear when entering Scottish Parliament.
Yep.
Okay. Any particular underwear? I mean, are thongs okay, or long johns, or
Any.
any undergarments completely banned? They check as well. They frisk you. They try and give you
Sure.
wedgings. Michelle,
Pajamas.
This goes back to a period of history where it would have perhaps been confrontational to have worn this.
Sword.
Well, you're going in the right direction.
Hatchet.
Keep going.
Knife.
That's not clothes, though, is it?
Dagger.
Unfortunately.
Scabbard.
Again, still not clothes. You're not,
A shillelagh.
that's not clothes either. How about you give me...
clothes. I thought you said close.
No, not clothes.
kilt.
Clothes. I know I've got an accent, but try and keep up.
A kilt.
If you're going into battle, you might wear one of these, and it would be confrontation if you walked into a Scottish Parliament wearing one.
A suit of armour.
There you go. I feel as if I kind of gave you that a little bit.
What?
But you are not allowed to wear a suit of armour walking into a Parliament in Scotland. Michelle is up to a shiny visor-filled 6. I know for a fact that Scotland isn't concerned about global warming because they can sit on their mountains and watch all the English drown. 100% true, that was them, but this is now as we enter our favourite part of the show. It's the mailbag.
Mailbag.
Love the mailbag.
Oh, you love
Lots of mail.
the mailbag. Don't forget you can write to us at any time on Facebook. We would love to hear from you. That's More Questions Than Answers with Adrian Lee. So if you have any comments about the show, I will read them out on air. I'd give you a bit of a shout out. Vicky has done just that. She has said, thanks for all the laughs on Saturday nights. My favourite part of the show, and I don't remember saying this, but I'm sure this did happen, was when I said, a policeman's outfit, you muppet. I don't know, it's out of context, but apparently saying a policeman's outfit, you muppet, was enough. And I'm also been asked to say, what? And Squirrel, which I've mentioned many times, so many people are leaving this show happy. You three brighten up my weekend.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Vicky.
I have some birthday gifts. They're long overdue because my birthday, as mentioned, was a couple of weeks ago. And I've saved these. I've had the patience. I know Morris would be tearing off the wrapping paper. She'd be in there.
Yep.
I bet you looked at your presents around the house 2 weeks before Christmas, didn't you?
Nobody left him out.
No one left. You didn't have any.
That's true.
You had an
Nobody loved
orange,
me.
a piece of coal, and some deodorant. That's all I need now in many respects just to make me happy. If I had a piece of coal, an orange, and some deodorant, my world would look a whole lot better right now. Did you go rooting around for your presents as a kid?
I didn't. My brother did.
I've met your brother, Mike. I can believe it. I didn't want to spoil the surprise. There was only a few places that my parents could have hidden such things.
Yeah.
And I made the effort not to go rooting through stuff because I didn't want the surprise to be ruined, although I knew I could have found them. Does that make sense? Because otherwise Christmas Day's ruined, and I'm thinking this through as a 6-year-old, right?
I didn't want to know.
Miss Morris, you're about to tell our beautiful listeners how they can donate a single dollar to the show and what they get for their money as I go below the table to find my birthday presents.
Well, if you go on to patreon.com and search out More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee or MQTA Radio, you'll be able to find us there. And for a single dollar, you can get extras like the Not For Your Mother section.
Not for your mama.
Also, and you'll get it first before anyone else, as well as some never before seen or heard episodes, and sometimes some radio plays, and sometimes some other naughty stuff on there, and sometimes just some fun stuff. But you have to be a patron in order to do it.
Yes, we do rely on you to give donations to the show to keep us running, for all of our studio time, for all of the paper, for all of the equipment that we have to replace on a regular basis. So thank you for that. That's MQTA Radio on Patreon. I throw my notes away and actually need them still. I don't know what I was thinking, but I shall continue regardless. You can access this show anytime on mcn6.org. It's streamed on every device. We have 250,000 listeners worldwide in 190 countries, and you can watch every single show in our archives if you go to YouTube and search for More Questions Than Answers with Adrian Lee. We also have SoundCloud, so you can listen to the show as well if you're in the car, if you're in the gym, if you're walking the dog, go to SoundCloud, search for MQTA Radio. Girls, you do not go home empty-hearted. I can see you've already made a start.
Mine's gone.
This is from Lisa. This is from Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa and
John. So thank you for that. They have some wine bottles. I'll throw you another one in a minute.
They gave me an empty one.
I can see what's that. Well, disappointment in your life is a constant thing. They will be working their way through those. So thank you for Lisa and John. I'm getting drunk through osmosis. I can feel it coming across. I have a card from Lisa and John, so I'm going to open that first. Feels like I'm getting my birthday again.
Yay.
Happy
And we put all
birthday.
these cards around the studio. There's a fabulous little squirrel on the front. That actually looks homemade, doesn't it? It's been glued together really well.
amazing.
And look at that.
Oh,
Stop.
It's a
my
squirrel
God.
and a birthday cake.
That's
and it's
fabulous.
I saw
love
a
it.
book of
Brilliant.
phobias that was pop-up. I mean, that's got to be the worst thing ever, isn't it? A book of phobias that's pop-up.
Yeah.
It says, happy birthday, have a fantastic day. Thank you for all you do, Lisa and John. Someone's got really nice handwriting, actually.
It was John.
It's John's handwriting, is it?
The quill.
It was joined up in places. This is fantastic. Thank you. That's very kind. If I'll have a quick search through, look at that. That's going
What
up.
is? Oh,
The
Nut
Nut
House.
The Nut House,
Yeah.
that's going up here. So I thank you for that. There goes my drink. Everything's happening here. I have Squirrel in underpants. So there's an air freshener.
Nice.
What
I
does
love
it smell like?
A
Underpants.
squirrel's underpants.
Oh, silly question.
Michelle
like nuts.
actually swerved once to avoid a tree, and it turned out to be the air freshener on her mirror. So I'm not saying she drinks a lot, but that has happened. I have some hard drugs in a baggie, so thank you for that.
Oh,
That's
lovely.
Earl Grey hard drugs, and there's acorns, there's other teas. I'm going to have to go through these separately. Perhaps we'll go through some more tomorrow. Look at that. I have a squirrel. And it's got a microphone, or is that an air freshener? It's very confusing on air, but thank you for all of those wonderful
Oh, thank
things.
you. I'll say thank you for him.
Deanna also has sent me a little package here. As you can see, that's been through the prison service and it's been looked at by the prison guards. This birthday card was designed especially for the mature, sophisticated guy of fine taste and refinement. It's come to the right place. He hasn't even got an address on it. They just know that's me, right? But I thought, what the heck, I'll send it to you anyway.
Awesome.
Yes.
For all
Yep.
of the times you say my notes are on prison paper.
Now it's on prison
It's almost like
cardstock.
that's right. You've moved up in the world. You've been working in the kitchens and the library. They've given you a few more pennies, and now you're
Yeah.
on proper paper. I hope you have an amazing birthday. I will send you love, light, and positive vibes on your special day, along with lots of hummus. So that's good news.
Yay. Hummus.
Humour. Enjoy your day, and we'll put that card up in the studio. I have a little bag here. We'll just quickly delve into this. I can see straight away that I have a little journal there.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And it's got a UFO sucking a cow out of a field,
Very nice.
which is very relevant for today's show.
Definitely.
Yes, you're not allowed to
Yeah.
look after the cows if you're drunk in Scotland, of course. I have a little bag here, and there is, if I can get it out, a little Ghostbusters
Oh,
PK
my God.
meter.
cute
Awesome.
is that?
I have a little piece of tissue paper,
Oh,
and she sent me her gallbladder, which is very kind of her.
nice.
There's a
Very
fabulous
nice.
little squirrel that looks like it's made of jasper, so that's going to go behind me with all of the fun things I have here, and my little pug, of course, that's taking
I know what's going on your tombstone
Part-
now.
I told you I was
Squirrels.
ill. Squirrels. I know what's going on my tombstone. Be interested and interesting is probably the
Squirrel.
way to go. Lots of pink paper. I suspect... Oh, there we go. It's got Michelle's name on this.
Well, then why are you opening it?
Oh, there's two. Okay. There's one for Heather and there's one for Michelle. I thought I had...
What are you doing looking on the side?
You both have one. I can't give it to you now. I'm sitting down.
Are you
and I'm-
on, Jubes?
You have... Am I on the tubes? You have... Love Hearts. That one looks like Tiger's Eye, and that's for Heather. And I
love
will
the
make sure they get
tiger.
those, Deanna.
We won't get them.
And the other one
We won't get them.
for Michelle. Oh, that looks like... Da-na-na-na. How about it?
Oh, I need that.
So I will put these safely
We
to
won't
one
get
side.
them, Deanna.
Yes, they will. Don't take no notice of them.
Can't believe
They've
you
won
opened
themselves a
them.
few points, and they think they're God's gift to paranormal
won't get
quiz
'em.
shows.
We never get anything.
Thank you to everyone who sent
Thank you.
those to
Thank
me.
you.
Would you like to tell the boys and girls what we do for the last time in a very long while on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m?
You have to meet us on Tuesday.
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 It's not a
Get
tumor.
your drinks ready. Make your run early. It might even be a 2-hour special. We don't know. I haven't checked.
Let's
but it
hope and
is
pray.
the last episode of the season of Oak Island on the History Channel on Tuesday night. Might be 7 o'clock, might be 8 o'clock. We don't know.
And it's
We
been
really
all
don't
over
know.
the news, of course, if you've been looking, that they found a giant two-handed medieval broadsword. So,
What?
you know, that, of course they haven't. When's that ever
Spoiler
going to
alert.
happen?
They haven't
some
found
coconut
anything.
fibre and a button.
They haven't found Jack. So all we do is we meet up there, we have gift wars, we drink a
Everybody's
lot.
always looking for Jack.
Do you know? You should make some dip, get some chips on,
Yep.
maybe have some hot dogs
Get
with
some
chili.
chili on.
And then don't forget the tequila,
It makes me
vodka,
happy.
Canadian Club,
coconut rum.
Crown Royal.
Yes.
Rusty nails.
Last
Yeah.
time. This coming Tuesday.
Is it really?
Tuesday.
Don't forget as well that you can access all of my books on Amazon. If you search for Adrian Lee, they'll all be on there for you. Mysterious Minnesota, Mysterious Midwest, How to Make Strange and Bizarre Cocktails. They're all there for you. I need to win some points. We're going to enter the round of Ghosts and Hauntings. And remember, we do not do orbs. A haunted pub is on sale for $220,000. Would we club together and buy that, do you think?
We could, maybe. Where
I
is
can't
it?
help thinking we're going to lose some money if you two chip in to buy a bar or a pub. I've seen Bar Rescue. The ones that are failing are the ones that are sat there drinking with their mates. Is that not the case?
So?
If you're a barman or you own a bar, you shouldn't be drinking in your own bar, should you? Is
Yes.
them the rules?
No, you should.
It has a deadly secret, though, hidden in the cellar. House hunters could now turn Ghostbusters by snapping up the Hanbury Arms in Pontypool in South Wales, following years of spooky encounters.
I'll do it.
The pub has been linked to 19th century hangings and is believed to be visited by the ghosts of an executioner,
21st
the only
century
person in town
things.
that could tie a knot. The pub's most terrifying feature is the spooky whispers that can be heard coming from the cellar, where there is a collection of coffins in various sizes. Because what else would
They
there
left
be
them there?
in a Welsh pub? It's true. I stayed, if you recall, in a place called Chelsea in Iowa, in a bed and breakfast that used to be a mortuary, and slept in the attic next to a stack of coffins. I was very cold that night. It is 100% true. I'm not telling a lie. The cellar was used as a storage for the coffins for the church across the road, with some of them believed to date back to the 1500s.
That's awesome.
Bar workers have claimed there have been a number of mysterious incidents over the years, such as glasses suddenly smashing into pieces, cider barrels bursting open, and lights being switched on mysteriously. You wouldn't want to be standing in cider, would you?
Stop it,
Other
Dickens.
terrifying tales include visits from a ghostly little girl named Emily and a small boy in Victorian dress.
How do they know her name's Emily?
Because Amara and Pa team has gone in there after watching a box set of Ghost Adventures with some cheap equipment and told them.
Ah,
It's gospel now.
yes.
At some point, workmen who were refurbishing the building upstairs fled the pub after saying they felt a bitterly cold presence and an oppressive feeling of dread. The only time I've ever fallen asleep on a paranormal investigation was at 6 in the morning in an old pub in Bedfordshire, but don't tell my team that. The snoring I made, they still think to this day was a hellhound. The pub's previous owner, Sean O'Connor, even invited paranormal experts to investigate. The investigators said that they were convinced of the presence of the spirits. O'Connor said the experience we have has been so profound and tangible that you've got no other option but to believe it. The property was built
Really?
in the 1830s, which seems very odd that you'd be stacking up coffins from the 15th century, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But closed its doors for trading last year. The sale includes the pub, the cellar, along with the first floor apartments and 4 bedrooms. If you're interested, the online auction will take place between April the 27th and April the 29th, covered in ghostly beer or nothing to see here. You decide for yourself. If you go to Facebook and search for More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee, you can see the story for yourself. Miss Morris.
Can see it now.
Morris's
Fields of Heather Inn.
Nice. Nice.
Pontypool Phantoms.
Yeah.
You could do a whole selection of cocktails based on the spirit world, couldn't you?
Oh,
I want the
yes.
toe one.
The tall spirit?
The toe.
Oh, the toe shot.
you want to
She
put
wants
a toe?
toe shot.
I'm sure in amongst all of those coffins we can find you a toe to put in a glass of whiskey.
That'd be great.
Miss Morris, what do you have for me tonight for the round of ghosts and hauntings?
YouTuber Hassan Barbar captured a mysterious figure on camera during his recent exploration of an old building. You know, you'd expect it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Just something running around. Well, the creepy footage, which shows the abandoned litter-strewn hallways of an unidentified building. Of course, it's unidentified because they don't want people to find it. illuminated only by the light of Hansen's torch or flashlight in American, is unnerving enough as it is.
I didn't know you were bilingual.
I know, right? But near the end of the video, he turns to see a mysterious figure standing at the end of a nearby hallway. Could be the other person that was with him, but doesn't want to mention that he was there as well. I'm just saying. At first, it seems as though the figure, which looks like a boy dressed in black,
The boy
might
in black.
not even be real, owing to the way it stands motionless. Probably because it's a cutout, just like on 3 Men and a Baby. Remember that whole fiasco?
Oh.
However, after a few seconds, it can be seen turning towards the right and walking out of sight behind a wall. Like, see ya.
I'm on.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
Done. Jog on. If I see a ghost, it's going to be jog on. That's how you do exorcisms, but you say it in Latin. Jogus honus.
Ah. Seemingly keen to investigate, Hansen then hurries up the corridor towards the corner that the figure disappeared behind, only to find that there's nothing there but a small, empty room. He disappeared into nothing.
Empty rooms. And it's gone.
It's all gone.
I'm here, I'm there, I'm like a puff of dust, I'm gone.
So where did the figure go? I don't know. He went somewhere.
Oh my. If you snort, everyone gets a drink. Is it in there? Is it coming up? Or is it, it's, kind of... It's half
The
a
video
drink.
is
You can sniff it.
certainly compelling.
Oh.
However, it's difficult to rule out the possibility that the ghost, in quotation marks, was simply an accomplice, and that the entire thing was staged to solicit views on YouTube. Duh. That's how it goes. It's also worth noting that the same YouTuber seems to have a lot of videos of similar sightings. I can't say that word on TV. Which casts some serious doubt on the likelihood that this particular ghost is genuine. It was deep fake. I know. You can't say it on TV. I already said that.
That's not very nice. 2 men being silly. I've got nothing else.
I know, right? That's how it goes.
I shall give you a couple of points, and I've no idea why, because it's meant to be fun, informative.
It was funny.
And, well, you say
He's
it's
gone.
funny. Disappeared into the ether. I need to get some points. Your favourite. I know how much you love this lady.
I'm not. No. Please don't.
Katie Price. She's got her knockers, but I think she's okay. Katie Price has a rubber chicken.
Oh,
Has
God.
insisted her mucky mansion home is plagued with the spirit of a little boy, but not black, and 2 other spooks. The 42-year-old
I'm over
star explained. This is the trouble when you're a glamour model and you've now reached 42 and things are taking over
It's
in terms of
bunk.
gravity. If you're playing the Bell Bunk and Snort drinking game anywhere in the world, you can
Is this the 5th time her house has been haunted? I forgot.
a shot. She has nothing or very little left. This is the problem. You know, when you've been a glamour model and you've had your tuppence out for everyone to look at, you know, where is there to go in middle age other than discussing the ghosts in your house? The 42-year-old star explained she has a candle in the property that tells her secrets, and it's left her friends in tears. It's one of those onion-scented candles.
My vagina one.
Well, it's not one of those, and we can't discuss that at the moment. Speaking on the Fellas podcast last night, she said it's definitely haunted. I took a picture of a little boy sitting on the top floor. I've got pictures of a guy going through a mirror. I videoed it all. I've seen it all. Seen it all.
Yeah, whatever.
And me talking to the candle flame, and it responds. I'm telling you, my whole life is
It's
nuts.
so fake. I'm over it.
It's so sad.
I've had my friends
over
in
it.
tears when I brought up stuff about them that I didn't know, but it was via the talking candle.
Don't believe anything.
Wasn't that a Disney film with Cinderella? Didn't they have a talking candle? Then, or was that a candle?
That was Beauty and the Beast.
I don't know. They're all cartoons.
Duh.
When asked how it worked, she explained, "You'll see me talking to it, telling the flame to go higher
It was
or lower."
Lumiere.
Katie and her boyfriend Carl Woods are currently renovating the 1.3 million Sussex mansion, and she is intent on getting rid of the bad energy. An insider told The Sun Katie's called in experts to bless the house and cleanse it with sage to dispel any
Is
bad
this the same
energy.
house that she trashed?
Yes, it's called the Mucky Mansion.
Yes,
She
that
just
she trashed.
Let it go to rack and ruin. Because large houses require large amounts of money for upkeep, is what normally happens. Her team were looking into getting an exorcist to get rid of all of this. She's actually feeling more positive about the house, but wants to make sure any curse is firmly in the past before she starts spending more time there.
Whatever.
The story's thin, or candle in the wind. I think I got away with it. You can see that for yourself if you go to our Facebook site, More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee. Michelle Corrie, what do you have for me tonight in the round of ghosts and hauntings?
A man in Croatia has claimed to have seen a ghost after he snapped a woman with see-through legs behind a group of nuns at a bus stop.
A group of nuns at a bus stop and some ghostly legs. I like it. This is a good start. It's very promising.
Absolutely. Ivan Rubil, who is a tour guide from Zagreb, shared the eerie picture online which appeared to back up his claim. In the snap, a lady in a brown coat can be seen waiting beside a group of nuns, but her legs appear to be so transparent that the bus stop line is visible through them.
She has those new transparent tights you can wear. They get them in Croatia. Pantyhose that make your legs see-through.
Yeah. Ultra nudes.
Wow. Ultra nude
Pantyhose.
We need a pair of those, don't we? Yeah.
Seeing two nuns waiting at a bus stop. Like,
two nuns at a bus stop.
There's a joke here, right?
I know, right?
I will tell you very quickly, and you need to have a background in Indian food, but I was actually having Indian food once on a Friday night. Two nuns walked into the Indian restaurant. I stood up and said, no, I ordered two naans. And that genuinely took place. Funniest moment of my life. Do continue. I can tell you're laughing with glee and happiness.
Yep, that's it.
Seeing two nuns waiting at a bus stop like bus conductors was enough for Ivan to reach for his phone. But it was only later that he spotted the other ghostly body. Ivan said, so I uploaded the photo to Facebook and had one of my friends comment, there's a ghost in your photo.
Creepy.
I didn't see it for at least 15 or 20 minutes, but then I saw it. For a few hours after it was pointed out to me, I was a little bit taken aback. I'm still not sure if it's a ghost, but it's definitely fun. The 30-year-old shared the image in response to an online social media account that had been asking for the scariest thing you've ever experienced. The caption in the photo said, I took this photo because I thought it was interesting about how the two nuns look like they're going to enter the bus and check everyone's tickets. Much later did I realize the woman in the brown coat near to them could be a ghost. He has now gained more than 100,000 views.
That's the way to do it. And we can see this. If you go to our Facebook site, More Questions and Answers, you can find this story for yourself. Well, all good things come to an end. In third place tonight is myself. I get a Welsh coughing, a night insider, and a mummified toe. In second place is Morris. She's on 6 tonight. She gets a flashlight, a boy in black, and a sniff at a shot. In first place, running away with the show tonight, is Michelle. She scores a large 8.
A large
8. It's a symmetrical bottom heavy 8. She gets a talking candle, a pair of Croatian nuns, and a chicken korma. I think I'd quite like that myself, to be honest.
Yes.
Don't forget to join us next week at the same time. Thank you for all of your help, all of your support. Thank you for my birthday wishes. Join us on MCN6 every Saturday night. You can find us also on YouTube. If you've missed this show and others, go to YouTube, search for More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee. My gratitude and greatest thanks are extended to Heather Morris and Michelle Corrie and all at the International Paranormal Society. And it just remains for me to say thank you for watching. And remember, be interested and interesting. Good